Hello, I am back, and it is currently, the night before I leave to go back to college. Way too late for me to be doing this, but that is okay, because I have a sketchbook. So yeah, this is my 26th sketchbook. You're gonna have to ignore the shadows, because this is kind of a hot mess. So yeah, it's kind of a hot mess, like I just said. Here is the back. Some cool stuff on it. I will link this person somewhere on screen. They do some really cool stuff. But yeah, this is my sketchbook. This is a character named Chester. And yeah, so here is our little, I guess, title spread. Yeah, he has some braces which I didn't include on the front, but they have little red tags on them. So that's kind of fun. And the sketchbook that I have is the mixed media sketchbook. And here is my notice. I draw dogs. Some of them have their bits. If you don't like that, go to a video that you like, because in the nicest way possible, I got into some drama with another college student and I don't want to deal with that. So if you aren't into that, find something that makes you happy. And yeah, here is my first spread, with Chester and his partner. This is Conrad. He is my guy. I really like him. So the pages are supposed to kind of fall out, but this thing has gotten so, like, bowed that I can't really keep this thing in anymore. So yeah, there's that. And then I start another little comic. Well, this is the first comic of this sketchbook, but in all of my sketchbooks I make little comics. So this is Windrunner. You'll see him colored and all that later. This is Stormsinger's mouth. And this is Water Rush, and this is Thunderbird. And these are some of my reoccurring characters. They're all dragons. And yeah, I was just kind of developing some stuff between them. But yeah, here's some more colored stuff. And woohoo! This is Leia. So Stormsinger has some developmental and intellectual disabilities, so Leia will like help him with little things when he needs them. And this is just kind of like a random little spread or whatever with them doing stuff. And this kind of continues the previous comic with my guys. And yeah, there they are. And this doesn't really mean anything, it was just a random spread with Water Rush. Here are these guys. I tried to draw them somewhat realistically. It didn't really work. But here, Conrad used to have earrings, but, yeah, they kind of got stuck to the other page, so that happened. Here's them. They're kissing, but make it safe. And everybody needs to have a nosebleed character, so Windrunner. And if you look closely, you can see that I started drawing Stormy, but I covered him up. And these are just some random little spreads with my guys. Wow, okay. This is Lotus Claw. She is Stormsinger's wife, and there's like some lore where they kind of take in Windrunner and his brother for a little bit, but this is Kipping Joy. She is currently Windrunner's parental figure, I guess. It's complicated, but yeah, she is with him for now. This is kind of a random little comic. And then there's this with these guys. I got obsessed with a song earlier last year, I guess, Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis, but I made a video about it, but this sketchbook had some issues with ink being reactivated, which was something I had never dealt with before, and it annoyed me. So yeah, I got it figured out well enough and I finished the sketchbook. But yeah, I did a video on this guy and I did this thing after that, so it's kind of in reverse, but you know. Well, okay, so this is Big Wings, who is Windrunner's brother, and I made a comic because I was going to be driving and it made me nervous, so yeah, it was all okay, but yeah, I just had to do something. And here is Thunderbird again. This character is named Crove. She is no longer alive in my little universe, but this was just like from when Conrad was little. And here's these guys again. And if it matters, the bear's name is Bluey, and yeah, Stormsinger has had her since he was a kid, and yeah, Bluey is his thing. Yeah, here he is when he's a little kid. In there he is with Bluey and his spikes. And this page was kind of fun. I think I did this one first, and then I went back and like did this. Here's a little cartoon version of me. Hi! I forgot a thing after this. So, after this guy, it's a little spread with these guys. But his earring kind of moves, and I think that's fun. But yeah, it's kind of shiny, kind of weird. And then it eventually does go to this. And this whole thing, it starts as a storyboard for a comic that I do after. So it goes like that. And I don't know if, yeah, I can do that maybe. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, and I put a stupid little meme down there. And I wrote all the dialogue in a notes app, so I don't know, maybe I can like put it on the screen somewhere if you like really want to read it. But yeah, it's a little bit suggestive at the start, but that's, you know, whatever. But yeah, this is when Stormsinger and Lotus Claw like first met, or not when they first met, you know, but it just kind of explores their relationship a little bit, or at least towards the beginning. And yeah. And here are some little sketches of them, I guess from around that time period. And this would have been like probably over 20 years ago in their universe. They've been together for a while. And here's these guys. I don't know if they're dancing or what, but they're having a good time. Yeah. And this is Windrunner. Yay! I was going through some stuff, which is why I did that, and why I did that. And I referenced a pic that I took of myself for that, so that's kind of funny. And I recorded this little guy, which is kind of like, I felt bad for drawing Windrunner all upset, so I'm like, let me draw him happier. So I did. Whoa! This is a colored version of Big Wings, and this is his boyfriend. His name is Running Hair, and they're pretty cool. And yeah, some stormy stuff with Bluey. Do you guys remember the election, stuff? Yeah, so, the next few pages are from that, because, as you can tell with my characters, and probably me, and I'm about to pick this up, that thing, literally right there, you can, probably figure out that, it was not really good, so, yeah, I seriously could not draw my characters for, like, a couple of days, because it just felt wrong, but we end up okay, we roll on, things happen, and, yeah, I drew Chester with some makeup, because I wanted to, and it made me happy, and I drew this, page while we were playing Jackbox with one of my clubs, and it was honestly pretty fun. This I saw in a box. I'm gonna show you. And I thought it'd be funny to draw somewhere. Yeah, these guys just having awesome, fun couple time. Oh, okay, so I have been thinking about different ways for Stormsinger to write and or text and stuff, because he can't really read or write on his own due to his disabilities. So I referenced like AAC devices, even though that's not quite what he needs, but I figured that I could take like pictures and, you know, have little things like that. So he could kind of have a system like that that could help him type and all that. So I started a little comic between these guys that talked a little bit about this, but then it kind of derails into some whole other conversation. So if you want to pause and read it, you can, but you know, you don't really have to. Yeah, and they did not know each other at all when they were younger. Stormsinger is literally like 50 and Big Wings is 19, so that wasn't really ever a thing. But, you know, just kind of a little thing to think about because I thought it was cute. Some little doodles, and they were going through some stuff here, but, you know. Here is where my friends invited me to play Dungeons and Dragons with them, so I started creating a character, which was pretty fun, actually. So yeah, here are my little sketches. Here are some little doodles. I started coloring this one, but I didn't like it. Okay, here is where the drama happened that I mentioned before, where, long story short, in my previous sketchbook, somewhere in it, yeah, I made this spread where, oh no, Chester's balls are out, and it very much offended somebody, so they have totally blocked me on everything, and they have told me to not speak to them ever again, which is really awkward because I try to be nice to everybody, and the fact that I offended them kind of freaks me out. So yeah, that was with all that. And this was a figure study drawing that I did with the art club. There's some of that. This was another figure study page, but I didn't like it, so I covered it up and made it gay. Whoops. Here was the final figure study page, and I think we had like 50 minutes to do this one, so that was really fun. And here is a colored, whoops, what's going on there? A colored page of my D&D character. Her name is Aloren, or just Ren, and it was so fun playing as her. Here's this. Oh no, we're getting a bit suggestive. Here is where Okay, so I saw this sculpture called the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa, and we learned about it in my art appreciation class. So I was like, oh my god, I need to draw something related to that. So I put these guys into a scene with a bunch of stuff, and I think it's pretty cool. So there are obviously, you know, some things that are kind of meh. Like, I could have done better with the gold. It's kind of just sporadic. But I think overall it was really fun, and I'm glad I did it. I think this started the finals crunch, I guess, for the last, like, 2 weeks of college. If you haven't been to college, all I can say is good luck. But yeah, I did a little spread here of the stuff that I was able to draw, either in a notebook or, like, just kind of on random scraps of paper with Stormy and some of his lore or whatever. This was, again, random stuff that I drew, and then I glued in here, painted some stuff. Because Chester is a double amputee, I thought a little bit about phantom pain after learning about it, but I don't really know if I want to do any of that yet, just because I still don't know enough about it to, like, quite know how it works, and I want them to be accurate, but it's also, like, I don't want him to be in pain, because that'd be mean. Here's where my art club had a My Little Pony night, but I've never really been into My Little Pony, so I just drew normal horses, I guess, which was honestly pretty fun. So yeah. Here's that one meme or whatever with, like, that horse. Okay, these were also something. So it's kind of hard to even make it out, but these are, like, 3D kind of, and I use this stuff called paper clay to, like, you know, do all the things. So yeah, it took a very long time for me to actually finish this spread. It's really weird, it's, you know, whatever. But it was an experiment, I'll just say that. This was kind of a little thing about that thing. And I got some, like, little paint markers for Christmas. So this is my little test page. Here's a gay joke because it's funny. These were, honestly, I think I just had to put something somewhere, and yeah. I switched this page around from where it originally was, but yeah, I did not lock in, but I was able to get all my stuff done. Here is a spread with these guys that I did with some, well, first I, like, did a sketch in acrylic and I didn't like it, so I painted over it. And I did some stuff with some oil pastels that my mom got me, and I'll put a picture of them somewhere, but they're currently packed already. But yeah, I don't know, I think it's pretty fun. It's not what I normally do with these guys, but I don't know. Oh, I gotta put this guy back before I get it everywhere. And this leads to the final comic of this sketchbook with Windrunner and Big Wings. And okay, so Windrunner has a lot of stuff going on, and I just wanted to do, like, a little thing where, like, you know, it was a little more happy, or hopeful at least, going into 2025, because yeah, it's been a lot. Yeah, it got a little bit sad, and then it's kind of goes into his backstory a little bit. So, long story short, his mom died, and he got hurt, and there's this. Yeah. And then I was kind of like, oh wait, this kind of sucks. So I did this little page, so maybe it could be a little bit more happy. to end off the sketchbook. And yeah, here's this a little guy. And yeah, there's the sketchbook. Here's that. And yeah, so that's it. Hope it was kind of fun. And I will see you when I see you. So, goodbye.